Imagine waking up in a world where you own nothing. Not your apartment, not your car, not even the devices you use to connect to this very video. And yet, the world tells you this is happiness. The World Economic Forum's prediction for 2030 rings in your ears. You will own nothing, and you will be happy. But, deep down, something feels off. You don't feel happy. In fact, you feel the opposite. Anxious, unsettled, stuck. There's a new breed of poor people out there. Some are here by societal design. Others, by choice. They don't look poor on the surface. They have iPhones, subscriptions, decent clothes. But they live under a silent curse, the constant anxiety of money. The gnawing question that never lets go. Am I secure, or is this all about to fall apart? Let's peel back the layers. Maybe your rent consumes half of your income. Or maybe you still live with your parents, because independence seems like a luxury you can't afford. You don't own much. What you do own fits in a suitcase, if someone would lend you one. They told you location, location, location. So you pay a premium for a broom closet and a toilet, telling yourself it's worth it because you wouldn't want to live anywhere else. But what do you really own? For the first time in modern history, we have multi-generational mortgages. Your parents have a mortgage they want pay off in their lifetimes. They hope you'll take it over, dreaming you'll become the owner. Owning a home is your biggest goal, but here's the twist. The house you live in isn't an asset, it's a liability. That doesn't make sense at first, does it? But it's true. When the math makes your brain hurt, you shrug it off. You call yourself a soft skills personality. But the anxiety creeps in anyway. Maybe your emergency fund is under $1,000. Or maybe you don't even have one. Be honest, if you lost your ability to earn money today, could you afford the next 3 months? Rent, bills, food, health? If your answer is no, you're not alone. You're the new poor. One small emergency away from personal bankruptcy. Last time something big happened, you borrowed money or sold something precious. You told yourself you were a free spirit, that possessions were holding you back. But deep down, you felt lost, anxious. You blame it on the state of things, on capitalism, on the world being on fire. But the truth is, you avoid thinking about it. Just like some people avoid the doctor because they're afraid of what they'll find. Not facing the truth only makes it worse. But that's future you's problem, right? For now, you'll just get by. You don't have a career. You have a job. Maybe even that's at risk of being taken over by AI soon. You earn just enough to cover your living costs and go out a couple of nights a month. Your lifestyle hangs by a thread, but as long as that thread holds, you keep at it. Promotions. Not interested. More responsibility doing something you hate. So you skate by, just good enough to get paid, not good enough to stand out. Your boss pays you just enough so you won't quit. You're both unhappy, but you push through. You dream of buying land out of the city, growing your own food, maybe renting a small cabin, or finally doing something creative with your life. But these dreams have been with you for over a decade, and nothing's changed. You tell yourself that you'll reinvent yourself if technology wipes out your job. But there are fewer and fewer paths left open. So you block it out. You keep scrolling. Debt. Debt. Maybe it's student loans. Maybe it's credit cards. You realize your degree hasn't helped much in today's economy. You stick with your field, partly to justify the money you spent. But you see plumbers and electricians out earning you, hands down. Debt is a strange beast. You're not even broke. You're less than broke. At least someone on the street starts at zero. You're in the negative. You work for years just to get back to zero. And even when you do make money, the bank gets paid first. You survive on what's left. If you can't pay your student debt, it doesn't just disappear. Sometimes it's passed on to your children. Imagine that sinking in. The cycle continues. The weight grows. Each generation inherits less freedom, more burden. Maybe you have no investable assets. Nothing that grows in value while you sleep. Your car? It's a liability, not an asset. It costs money just to have it. Gas, maintenance, insurance. Ask yourself, what do you own, outside yourself, that's making you money or going up in value? For most people, the answer is nothing. That's why so many are struggling. You love Starbucks. The taste, the ritual, the status. But do you own any Starbucks stock? For less than the price of a couple of drinks, you could. Most people never think about this. They're consumers, not owners. If Starbucks does well, their stockholders get richer. If you owned even a single share, you'd get paid dividends every year. That's how wealth gets built. Not just by spending, but by owning. Inflation. It's the shadow that follows you everywhere. Things get more expensive, faster than you can earn more. In the last 5 years, prices for almost everything, housing, food, medical care, have soared. If your income didn't go up by 50% in that same time, you're actually poorer. This is the highest inflation you've ever lived through. The safe, stable job your parents cherished? It may not cut it much longer. You use payment plans to buy things. Buy now, pay later. It sounds harmless until you look at the fine print. Interest rates can add 30% to the price. That phone you couldn't wait to have? You're paying hundreds more over time. You think because you can afford the monthly payment, you can afford the thing itself. But convenience is costly. Every time you choose now over later, you borrow from your future. Digital money has changed the game. You tap, swipe, click, and the money vanishes. But each digital transaction chips away at the value. Visa, MasterCard, and payment processors take their cut, 2.87% to 4.35% of every transaction. Do that 32 times, and most of your money has moved from your pocket to corporate profits. Cash doesn't do this. If you hand over a $50 bill, the full value transfers, no fees. But who carries cash anymore? You are your parents' retirement plan. They worked hard, but never saved enough, never invested. Now, you find yourself supporting them, even as you struggle to support yourself. Every hospital visit, every prescription, every bill chips away at your already fragile finances. You want to help, but the hole just gets deeper. You wonder, quietly, how you'll ever get ahead. Everyone around you is living the same way, struggling, getting by. Not a single person is thriving. It seems normal, so you blame the system. You look at your friends, same jobs, same debts, same dreams put on hold. If nobody is winning, how do you find a way out? There's no guidance, no clear path. The new poor settle for mediocrity, convinced nothing can change. You pay for services, not goods. You don't own a car, you Uber everywhere. You don't own a bike, you rent a scooter. Everything is about convenience, but it's costing you more than you realize. If you owned a scooter, you could sell it later. But when you rent, that money is just gone. The average millennial will spend over $300,000 on convenience in 25 years, 4 times what they'd spend with public transport. And digital goods. Once you pay, there's zero resale value. It's a one-way street. Overpaying for small things becomes a habit. A coffee at Starbucks costs $2.50, but making it at home costs 36 cents. Brand name medications are 5 times more expensive than generics, even though they're identical. You pay $400 for a Gucci shirt that costs $6 to make, just for the label. These small treats add up to big losses over time. You tell yourself it's worth it, a reward, a pick-me-up. But you're paying for illusion, not improvement. You prioritize the present over the future. The YOLO mindset rules. You follow trends that urge you to live for now, not worry about tomorrow. Social media tells you, you'll make the money back, but you'll never be this young again. It sounds great, but in practice, it's borrowing from your future self. If you have $200 in your account and $35,000 in debt, why spend $75 going out on a Friday night? The bill always comes due. New poor lack in demand hard skills. You might be an expert at scrolling social media, or can name every craft beer in the city, but when it comes to building something, solving real problems, or offering value, you're not sure where to start. Participation trophies bred entitlement, not expertise. You don't know what it means to bring something to the table, because someone else always did it for you. Talking about money makes you uncomfortable. You'd rather follow rich celebrities on Instagram, fantasizing about their lives, than discuss your own finances. You tell yourself money isn't everything, and that's true, but it's hard to be zen when your baby needs diapers and you're out of cash. You drool over displays of wealth, but resist the effort to change. The new poor choose comfort over growth. The new poor mindset is a virus. It spreads quietly, infecting your thoughts. But there's a cure: education, learning, facing the hard truths. Let's pause for a moment. When your parents were your age, they had more work experience and more wealth than you do now. They entered the workforce earlier, endured tougher times, and had a higher pain tolerance. But you have an advantage: technology. You can do in 5 years what took them 30. Today, a business can double every quarter, not just grow by 10% a year. The older generation may have amassed wealth, but they're outdated. You are in tune with the culture. You can outcompete, if you choose to. If you understand this, if you wake up, you're not poor. You're pre-rich. On your journey, the only thing standing between you and change is belief. The world is shifting. The rules are changing. But you have the tools. Will you use them? Or will you keep treading water, watching others pass you by?